This is the Marty Sheargold Show on Triple M, and Marty, Designing a Legacy is on this Sunday, the 4th of June.
It is.
Sunday, the 11th of June, 7:30 p.m. on ABC TV and ABC iView.
With me old mate Tim Ross.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you, Tim.
Hello, everyone. Did you enjoy the preview? You watched it, Marty?
Loved it. Jeez, there's some design and architecture there. That
What was
really
your favourite bit?
Well, probably the way that some of it incorporates itself into the landscape that we know and love.
Oh, I see. Someone's given you a sheet.
I've got a sheet in front of me.
Have you ever prepped for an interview?
Yes, look at that. I could have highlighted all the bullet
Did you know?
points. I highlighted the last set of bullet points.
You're looking good, mate.
So are you.
Thanks,
Before
mate.
we
You
chat,
know,
go
I've
on.
given up drinking.
Have you really? How long for?
Been a year.
Well done,
Wow.
mate.
Yeah.
It sort of mucks around with your brain in the early days of it. I had 12 months off as well, and it was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah. And then what happened?
I got back on it.
Clearly.
But I only set myself a 12-month goal. And I ticked the box and I went, great, well done.
You know what happened? It's a good thing. I'm going to keep going, though.
Yeah.
But people are really interesting because they say, oh, look, you're looking really healthy,
Which you are.
which is their way of saying you don't look as fat as you used to be. Which is true. Because, you know, when I was doing the breakfast show in Sydney, I had to interview Matt Damon once. You ever met Matt?
Yeah.
Lovely guy.
Yeah, a lot of makeup.
Yeah.
So you chatted with Matt Damon.
No, Robbie Williams was the same.
Yeah. A lot of makeup.
Probably first really famous person I interviewed, and I thought he was the most handsome person I'd ever met in my life. And then it wasn't until years later I realised that he just had makeup on, and you know I was 25 or something. I'd never seen
A man with makeup.
Well, like a famous person, and he'd just been on the Today Show and just wore it straight to the studio.
That's how they roll.
Yeah, that's how they do it. Richard Wilkins been doing that for years.
He loves his eyeliner now. It's like Robert Smith.
So I interviewed Matt, and I was just doing it by myself. Merritt was sick. So I'm walking down the front, and there's a coffee cart. We walk out of the hotel, you know, big hotel in the city. I walk out the front. I ordered a cup of coffee. Matt Damon ordered a cup of coffee, right? And Matt Damon paid for my cup of coffee, which is really lovely. Yeah,
nice.
And then unbeknownst to me, this woman from the film company's watching the whole thing happen. She goes back to the office and she goes, oh, that Matt Damon, he's such a dreamboat. Not only is he good looking, not only is he a great actor, but I just saw him buy a cup of coffee for a homeless person.
That was you. You're not homeless. You're
No,
far
no,
from it. You've got a beautiful home. So you're feeling better within yourself. Was there a reason that you knocked it on the head, or had you just, thought, let's give it a
Personal
run?
question, mate.
It is a personal
It's a really
question.
personal question.
It is.
You're just getting.
You feel free to answer it.
because it's like years of friendship, and you're just unraveling it in front
Well,
of
we
everyone.
were young comics coming up through the scene
Yeah.
together, and
Yeah.
it's fair to
And
say
we were
over the
abusing
journey,
alcohol.
we gave it a nudge
Yeah.
at various times.
And sometimes you have to stop, Marty. And
Sometimes
that's what
you do.
today's about.
That-
Intervention. No, I got a little bit of high blood pressure. It's pretty boring, but
Yeah, right.
you get to the age like my age, you go to the cardiologist and they say, look, if you don't do something about it, by the time you're 65, you're gonna have a heart attack or a stroke and be dead. So that's a little bit of it's an inspiration to you,
It
sort
is.
of conversation.
Yeah.
No.
And so I just thought, I can't do things in moderation. And I thought, I've tried. And I just went, you know what, I'm done. May 16 after the election, I just stopped.
People may or may not know because you've spent a lot of time living in Sydney, but you're a Mount Eliza boy, much like yourself.
I forgot that's right. Grew up in
You
Bright
guys, did
Crescent.
you go to the same school?
I went to Peninsula.
Yeah, we were there.
Did you go to Peninsula?
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
Are you one of the Troy? Are you one of the? They've got some sort of old boy thing where
Yeah.
they give you there's what's it called, Hall of Fame or something?
Oh yes, I
Are you-
have
are
had
you
one
in
of
that?
those.
Are you in that?
I have had one of those recently, a few years ago, I think. It was
They
Don't tell me they've left you out of the Hall of Fame.
You're in it, surely.
no.
You're not in the
No.
Hall of Fame.
No.
what?
So Malloy is.
Oh, Peter Mitchell.
This feels
Peter Mitchell's in.
Mitchell, sure.
this
surely
feels
is.
targeted.
What about the Rain Boys?
Sammy J's in it. Yeah, James Rain's.
Sammy
James
J,
Ray?
the guy with the puppet.
Yes.
You'd have to be kidding me.
And you're not in it.
No, because there's a reason for this.
Oh, fine, good.
Do you remember Boozer Brennan?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
The ceramics
the
teacher.
pottery teacher. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, Boozer.
I remember getting pottery in his beard one day.
Yes, well,
it spun off the thing, and
So Boozer Brennan, his big thing was telling you in 1987 that a vase doesn't have a shoddy, son, and you go because you're making a bong. you
Yeah,
know?
right. I get it. Yeah.
But so when I was at Nova, we used to do this thing. We were talking one day, America and I talking about how I used to ring up pretend to be my parents when I want to wag school. And I'd be
Good.
like, Is this Mr. Ross here, and I'm just letting you know that Tim's a bit under the weather, won't be coming in today, And we're just talking about it, and then we thought, let's see if I just do it now and see whether I could get away with it. So I rang Peninsula and said, oh, hello, it's, Mr. Ross here, just letting you know that Tim's not coming in. And this was the year 2007 or something. And so what happened was they said, well, what's his name? I said, Tim Ross. He's sure he's a student here. Yeah, I'm sure Tim's a student here. Actually, he finished in 1988. And then I asked to be put through to Boozer Brennan, and I left some message on his voicemail. And then it became a bit of a thing. We started prank calling him.
Boozer.
And he rang up my boss.
Oh, right. He didn't like it.
And my boss, Scotty, at the time said, because you need to tell Tim Ross to stop doing this. And Scotty said, no, it's really funny. In fact, I've told him to do more of it. Anyway, that's why I'm not in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you were a Mount Eliza kid,
Yeah.
and then tracking through the sort of brief journey in a nutshell before we get to designing a legacy, you Triple J'd it for a few years.
A couple of years, yeah.
That was a couple of years there, and then you Nova'd it for a long time and just kept racking up breakfast hours, and then stayed in Sydney, which I always found intriguing because most people come back, but you never did. You'd built a life and a home and started to have a family there and decided to stay.
Yeah, you marry in. They don't like moving.
No, they don't.
No,
The ladies.
And that was pretty, you move. I've almost been away for as long
As you were here.
Yeah. Which upsets people greatly.
Because people don't want other people to go away.
No, and it's good though, because I love Melbourne in a completely different way. Because you're a visitor and you see it through different eyes.
Totally.
And every time I come back, I adore it. And then, and I said my brothers are still here. My old man's still here. My sister's here, so I'm always here.
You're always here.
Yeah, I don't want to see them because they shit me. But,
But you're always here, ignoring them. The journey of your career's been wonderful too, because you've now just done
Marty.
a full pivot where you were incredibly well respected by our generation of comedians. When I first saw you, you were in a three-hander with another bloke called Juck Sims.
Jucky, yeah.
And you used to wear stack hats and throw fruit at each other at the Esplanade Hotel, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And
Jury's
then
out
you
on that
became American Rosso and, went around the country numerous times doing laps and being funny. And now I didn't know this part about you, this design, architecture, love of mid-century, this real passion for what you're making with the ABC at the moment. I didn't know about this till probably maybe 10 years ago.
It's because you never asked, mate.
And that hurts.
No. I'm a weird cat. I've always collected furniture and stuff like that. And it's just, it became, I was at ARN and, I got my first series up at the ABC 2016, Streets of Your Town. Did pretty well. But I was doing full-time drive. And, I was coming to the end of my contract and I was thinking, oh, should I stay? Should I go? And I knew that I couldn't do the series in the way that I wanted to. It'd take me 10 years or something to get that documentary out. That's how long these things take. And then they sacked me.
Yeah, right.
And I haven't worked in radio since, and it's sort of been
Liberating.
yeah. Like I love doing it, but there's nothing worse. And I want to do super radio chat here.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than someone who used to do this job, who just bangs on about it all the time.
Yeah.
And about how everyone today's shit, and in their day it was beautiful. And I loved what I did, but we're going to live for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Our lives are changing in a way that we never imagined.
No.
But, you're going to have 2-3 acts in different ways.
Well, that's the thing now.
Yeah.
You can transition through several different careers if you can. You've still got a live component of your career that ticks along as well, whether it's talking about this kind of thing or whether it's the show that I've seen you do with Kit.
Warhurst,
Kit Warhurst, who's a lovely man.
But this thing is that the idea is that for me that I want to do things that, like, I loved what I used to do with Mez, and we had a great time. But I'm not 24 anymore.
No.
And you just different interests come along, and we all see it with people we met or whatever, and you just go, I just want to do other stuff. This job, you meet everyone but don't meet anyone.
Oh, so true.
So someone come in here for someone comes in for 3 minutes, and you go, oh, that was great, and then you never get to talk to them ever again.
No.
And so that for me, I was like, God, I want to meet some people. I spent 10 years of, getting up early and oh, that was great. Hugh Jackman came in. That was nice. But, maybe I just wanted to hold hands with you when we walked down the street. We want to be better friends.
Something deeper,
Yeah,
something more meaningful. I totally get that. Designing a legacy, mate, Sunday the 4th of June. Walk me through it. I've got a couple of notes here talking about not only the idea of good design being a solid tradition, but creating community, which is one part of it that I really like. Arden Street, for example. It may not be great design, but it has created a community down there by putting a hub in place that people can share and feel part of and sheltered.
Yeah, I think the thing I'm really interested in is, you're right, love North Melbourne. I don't know what they've done at Arden Street, so it sounds good.
It is.
I'll take your word for it. I'll Google it after we finish here when we're getting one of those photos for you for the website, which I love.
The website. We don't do much for the website anymore.
For Insta.
triplem.com.au.
The win page.
I can imagine that conversation. We just get a photo, Marty, with the guest. No, we can't.
That's exactly how it happens.
We have known each other for a long time. So walk me through this. Private homes, schools, motels, museums, mosques. It seems to be an umbrella that is more about the building than perhaps the purpose.
Yeah, so I wanted to have a look at why architecture matters to us, and particularly, say, housing models. So there's the biggest things going on now. Everyone's listening now. It's either them or their kids are worried about housing affordability. So how do we find solutions to that?
In the housing space?
In the housing space.
Because the simple thing would just be to go up and remove the stress of owning land and whack everyone in a 2-bed, 2-bath.
Yeah, but not everyone wants to do that.
No.
And there's different models. And the sort of apartments that we're getting are made for developers and investors and not for people who want to live in them.
So
you've only got one option. You say 2-bed, 2 bathrooms.
Yeah.
What happens if you want an extra bedroom? What if you want something else? Want someone else to come and stay? There is no options because our homes aren't being made for us. They're being made for investors. And so one of the things we look at are these cooperative housing forms where there's one from the 1970s that still works in Canberra. It still works to this day. And where you put all the money goes into the development, you get together with a few mates, you make your own development, and then there's not someone walking away with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. You get a cheaper house and you get a better house for it. So we can't rely on the government intervening to help this. Sometimes people are going to have to look around and go, well, why don't we buy that place and we all live there in some way? We put 6 apartments for ourselves in rather than letting the developers do it. It's not that easy, but it's also not that hard either.
But it involves cooperation, which has become a smaller and smaller part of community.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. So the way that people would band together in the 1970s to create a cooperative housing, I'm not talking about hippies, we're talking about everyday people doing this thing. Whether or not people want to put in that same way, get their hands dirty and shovel some tan bar.
What takes you by surprise when you make a show like this, when you're sort of working through it all and processing it? What are those moments where you go, I didn't expect that?
I was on the Torres Strait, and we're filming this mate of mine, Kevin O'Brien, Indigenous architect. And we're going there to see why he became an architect, because his family all lived there, and they lived in this crappy social housing that was not designed for climate. It was designed for maintenance, not for people.
Yep.
So he rallied against it. Everyone he went to university with became architects because their parents were architects or their privilege had made that. He became an architect because he saw shit architecture when he was a kid. And we're there on this boat with one of his cousins, this small island. Everyone's his cousins. Like, just waves at everyone landing in boats and things. It's like,
it's like Mick Malloy's turned up. The Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And it was a really wonderful experience. And we're doing this bit. We've got the drone going. They're filming on this little speedboat. We're turning up to go to the deck. And his cousin is a young guy, about 19, slows down because there's a turtle there, crystal clear blue water. And I thought he was slowing down for me to have a look at the turtle, this beautiful thing swimming there. But he's about to jump in and take it for lunch. And then Kev said, not with the cameras going.
No, we won't kill it on camera.
It tastes like pork, apparently.
Does
Delicious.
it really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
We had
Yeah.
a funny time when we were in Hamilton Island and my partner's hat fell off, and this bloke at the front of the boat goes, "It's a turtle!" So the boat does the full turn around, and then the guy scoops Ange's hat out and gives it back to her. Oh, that wasn't a turtle, guys. Relax. Mate, it's always lovely to see you. Is there anything you'd like to talk about? Anything that you'd like to cover off before you go?
When are we having lunch?
Oh, that is a great
yeah,
question.
it's been too long,
Have a
Marty.
soda water lunch.
Yeah, no, I still like watching people drink. I'll watch you drink 20 cans, drive you home. That's the beauty of this thing now,
Oh,
mate.
you're a very, very good sober man. Whereas when I was sober, I was like, I can't go there at 7:30.
Did you not see anyone for a year? Is that-
I was pretty quiet.
Cancelled everything.
Oh, hang on, stay out of it, mate. No, I was quiet, but I needed to be quiet because my brain was loud.
Mm.
Mate, it's lovely to see you as always. Best of luck with it. Sunday the 4th of June, Sunday the 11th of June, 7:30 on the ABC, and of course, importantly on ABC iView, Designing a Legacy. Tim Ross, what a pleasure.
Can we also add October 25, 2023?
Yes, we can.
Hall of Fame Seminary. Hall of Fame at the Sir Red Janset Hall. Peninsula Grove.
Okay, beautiful. The
Yeah.
Sir Red Janset Hall. Maybe we should do an OB.
We should. Let's do it. Let's get
Why
it
not?
sorted. See you there.
Lovely to see you,
Thanks,
mate.
Sid.
Thank you.